Hello music people! This video is for bass players. I find the bass to be a fascinating instrument. A bass line in a given song can be incredibly simple, or incredibly complex, or anywhere in between. The bass is also capable of hitting low frequency notes that most other melodic instruments are incapable of reaching. A keyboard can also reach notes that are that low, but generally speaking, the keyboardist shouldn't be playing that low. This is your domain. By being able to play notes that low, you have a really specific responsibility in the band. You're responsible for the low frequencies. Low frequencies make a band sound fuller overall. Even though it might be more interesting for you to play higher up on the neck, sometimes for the sake of the band's overall sound, it's better for you to play the lowest possible notes. This is going to vary from one style to another, so that's why it's so important for you as a bassist to figure out what your role is. Your role is going to be determined by the style, the repertoire, the other members in your band and what they're doing. You are going to figure out your role by trying different things, listening to different recordings, and communicating with your band members. Let me just play for you a few examples of what I'm talking about here. Your band might be playing a particular chord progression, and you may have come up with an interesting bass line that goes something like this. And you might think, hey, that sounds great and I enjoy practicing it and playing it. Sounds great when I play it by myself when I'm practicing. But when you combine it with what the other members of the band are doing, it may not be appropriate. It might be better to just play something simpler. It also might be more appropriate to play the lowest notes possible for that particular line. At the end of the day, you might find that for the sake of the group's overall sound, it's better for you to play the simpler lower line, even though that first line that I played might be the most interesting for you to play. You can't be selfish. You need to think about what is going to be best for the overall sound of the band. Here's another example of what I mean. If you're playing in kind of a funky, soulful band, you may be tempted to play something like this. And that may be appropriate, but it might not be. It might be too busy and too complex depending on what is going on with the other instruments in your group. It might be better to do something like this. Again, maybe not as interesting for you to play as a solo instrument, but you're not playing as a solo instrument. You're playing in a band, and you need to be playing parts that make the band as a whole sound as good as possible. So that is my advice for bass players today. Don't be selfish. Think about what's best for the band when you're deciding which lines to play and which frequency ranges you're going to play them in. And so, I hope this video has been helpful, and I will see you next time.